Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Today we're going to be continuing our playthrough of Kingdom Death Monster. We are moving into the settlement after taking on the level 2 Kingsman. We made it out of the fight alive and we actually got a couple scraps and a monster organ on top of that. Now of course the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and grab all of our different hunt XPs and our weapon proficiencies. Now I did that for our 3 characters returning and it doesn't change anything. Nobody has gained any milestones, so we don't have to worry about that. There's nothing we're going to have to take on. But like I said, we did get 2 scraps and a monster organ that we're going to add to our settlement. I've laid out our board and we have our survivors. Are you excited to see if we can make it through the settlement and then let's go on a hunt? If so, then I need you to meet me at the co-op shop. So the first thing we're going to do when we come back to our settlement is going to go ahead and gain our endeavors. We've got 1, 2, 3 for our returning survivors. We get 1, 2 for our fallen comrade, and we get 1 for cooking. And nobody in our group has Tinkerer, I don't think. Nope, there is no Tinkerer in our group, so we don't get an extra 1 for coming back. So we've gone ahead and gained our endeavors. Now we're going to update our timeline and draw a settlement event card. So we're going to be on Lantern Year 20 here, and we've got a lot going on. We've got the Watched, Hooded Knight, and we also have Murder from the last time we came here. I'm also going to update our death count, even though it's not right now. I'm going to put that there. If we lose anybody else, of course, we'll add them more as we go. So now we're going to go ahead and take our settlement events and give them a good old truffle shuffle here, mix them all up real good, and we're going to take the top one and see what we get. We're going to go ahead and give them a little bit more, and we're going to we'll go with this one right here and see what has befallen our survivors. Weird Dream. All right, let's see what it says. Settlement event. If you are the only player, a survivor dreams about a giant man that controls their lives from the darkness above. All departing survivors gain +3 insanity. Well, I am the only player. Otherwise, look at all this stuff that could happen. Wow. I wish I would have had more people. That's no bad. That's no good. Oh, darn. All right. Well, we're going to gain, what is it? All departing survivors gain +3 insanity because, of course, there is a giant man that controls their lives. Who could that be? This guy right here. This is a really awesome card. All right, that's going to be our settlement event. So we'll just remember at the end to go ahead and grab our 3 insanity for all our departing survivors. Now we have to continue on. We do have some other ones we have to do actually. We have to do Watched, Hooded Knight, and Murder. So I'm going to go ahead and get Murder out of here. But we're also going to go first and see what Watched says. So here's our event for Watched. Look at the picture, it looks awesome. I'm really excited to see what happens to these poor people. Look at all the things that are around. There's all these different lanterns, and these guys aren't exactly too happy about being here, it doesn't look like. It looks like a pretty frightful place. Now, I don't know what all this is going on. It looks like I see the Watcher in there, though. So let's go ahead and read. This is going to be really cool. So here it is. It's the finale, Watched. Let's go ahead and read. Dark spots spread across the lantern horde. A nervous hush falls over the settlement. Slowly, the most daring survivors peer past the darkened lanterns, venturing beneath them into a vast chamber, unknown and undreamed of. Slumbering in the center of the chamber, the survivors can feel a presence of immense danger. Their ultimate predator would soon awake, extinguishing the lantern light that holds the endless darkness at bay. Starting with this settlement phase, the survivors may awaken the face of the sleeping man. You may move Nemesis Encounter Watcher to the current lantern year. You cannot move it to a year that already has a Nemesis Encounter on the timeline. The settlement have a different response to the discovery based on their conviction. We have the barbaric response, because that's our principle. It says right here, the survivors decide they must craft the perfect weapon to repair themselves, gain the ultimate weapon innovation. This does not count towards your settlement's innovation total. Nominate a survivor and roll a d10. I think the survivor we're going to nominate is Gold Moon, because after all, she's kind of been our main survivor. We're going to roll it up and see what we get. We got a 5, which is right here, 5. It says, the survivor begins to make preparations. Add Hands of Heat to the timeline 4 years from now. So I've added Hands of Heat right here to number 24. Now, in order to get to it, we have to get past the Butcher level 3, and then look at this. Then we would fight the Watcher. So we have to decide. Now, of course, anytime we could decide to fight the Watcher. If you think I'm ready to do it, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. But if not, I'm going to keep on going until we actually get to the Nemesis encounter itself. So that'll be our final time before we actually have to take on the Watcher. Now, of course, I know absolutely nothing about that character. I don't even actually have the model made yet. So I'm going to have to start working on that. I'm really excited to build up the final boss in this game. But where we are now, we have put our Hands of Heat here. We have the Hooded Knight and Murder that we have to do next. We've seen the Hooded Knight many times, so we're going to go ahead and read here. If any survivor has the Twilight Sword, which we do, they duel the Knight. Otherwise, his motives are inscrutable. Roll on the mysterious agenda. We do have the Twilight Sword. Let's go ahead and see what happens. It's time for the duel. The Hooded Knight confronts the bearer of the Twilight Sword, which is Riverwind. He's going to be really happy about this. They roll on the table. Add +1 to the result for each Twilight Sword weapon proficiency level. He has 0. So we're going to roll a die and see what happens to the poor guy. He got a 3. That's probably going to be terrible. Oh, look at this. The survivor perishes quickly. Disappointed, the Knight leaves never to return. Well, good news, bad news, we lost Riverwind. That's the bad news. Good news is we never have to worry about the Hooded Knight again. So sadly, that means we have lost one of our oldest survivors that has been with us, Riverwind. Riverwind is now gone for good, but he gets to leave us with an endeavor. Thank you so much, Riverwind. Oh, it's too bad. Well, let's continue the murder. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and take a death count here, and I'm going to add one more death count because we have to invoke murder. Murder has to happen. It says, someone in the settlement has been murdered. The survivor with the highest hunt XP is the victim. They are dead. The murderer is the survivor with the highest insanity. No, it's not. In this case, it's the person that had to suffer the Skull Eater event last time. He was caught in the act and is awaiting punishment. So we're going to select the table that corresponds with our settlement society principle and roll a d10 to determine the fate of the murderer. Now, we don't have a society yet because we need to get 15 people in our population, and it never happens because people keep dying. It says here, we have to deal with this. The murderer is killed on a 1 through 3, a 4 through 7, something happens, and 8 through 10, something else happens. So first, let's take care of the murdering. We have to do that. Now, of course, like I said before, the Skull Eater is the one that has to do it, his Morrow Hunger. When the Murder or Skull Eater settlement events are drawn, the survivor is nominated. So since we drew murder, Ullen is our murderer, which is sad because he has that spear, which is really cool. All right, we're going to go ahead now and see who he murders. He murders the person with the most hunt XP. And from what I can gather, the person with the most hunt XP was going to either be Burham Everman or Silvara. And it's going to be her. She is now dead. All right, we have lost another person in the settlement phase. So we get another endeavor. So at least we have a lot of endeavors that maybe we can make some more survivors, and we kind of need them. And now that that is done, let's see what happens to Ullen. Ullen got a 3. The murderer is killed as well. We get another one of these endeavor tokens. All right, there we go. And Ullen is also dead. We have lost 3 survivors just coming back from our wonderful hunt. So we lost more people here than we did taking on a Kingsman. All right, we're down to 2 returning survivors, which is awesome. But we're going to keep on going. We're going to move on into the update timeline. We've done that. We've done all of our events. We're going to go ahead and update our kill death count. We have to update that again. Another person has died. And now we're going to go ahead and check milestones. We've done that. We're going to develop. So we've got all of these endeavors, and we have a ton of resources that we have from the last set of fights. So here's all the stuff we have. And I've gone ahead and already added the monster organ and our 2 extra scrap up here. We have to decide what we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do, of course, is take one of our endeavors and our monster organ and our monster bone and one of our monster hides. Bring it down to 2. And we, of course, are going to innovate. I always innovate. I think it's one of the most important things. So we're going to take our deck of cards here. We don't have many left in this deck. And we're going to shuffle them up, and we're going to go ahead and gain one of these. Now, of course, we get to draw 4. And if there's only 6 left, I'm just going to take these 4, put these 2 back, and see what we get. We have found sculpture. Of course, we've read a ton of these before. We have sculpture. We have drums. we have partnership, and we have sacrifice. I think we're going to go ahead and take drums. This is going to be what we do. Now, of course, we can use this, then we can select one. I can gain 2 insanity, 2 survival, or I can gain the rhythm chaser fighting art or synchronized strike secret fighting art, and I get to add all the drum consequences to the innovation deck. So this is our new innovation that we have gained this turn. We're going to put these back in the deck, and we're also going to add all of those, drum consequences to the innovation deck. So our Song of the Brave and our Forbidden Dance are going to be added to because of our drums consequences, and we also get the ultimate weapon because of our event. Our survival limit goes up 1, so I think we're at 10 now. And when you defeat a monster, gain 1 monster resource of your choice from its resource deck. That'll be awesome, so I can start picking what I want if I really need something to help make a weapon, which is what they think which is the whole basis of the card. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and use our scrap smelting. But what we're going to do is build the blacksmith. So again, we're going to spend an endeavor, and we're also going to lose 6 bone and 3 scraps. So our scraps are going to go down to 1, which is just fine. Now we have to lose 6 bone, and I've got 3 skulls here, so we're going to get rid of the skulls. We're also going to get rid of maybe the monster bone. Oh, I already used the monster bone. We've already used that monster bone. We've already used this monster organ. And we've also used the monster hydra to get rid of. We have to lose 3 more bone. We can use these 3 shank bones here. We're going to lose all 3 of those. That's totally fine. Now let's see. That means we can now build the blacksmith. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Here's the blacksmith. He is going to be awesome. I can make some really cool, awesome armor. And on top of that, we can also make some new weapons down here. Lanterns, swords, daggers, glaives. We can make a ring whip, a beacon shield, a scrap shield. We can make Dragon Slayer the perfect Slayer. And of course, we need a lot of resources to do any of these. And we might be able to get some. I can go ahead and use our leather worker at the bottom to spend any number of hides to add any equal number of leather strange resources to the settlement. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to create our lantern gauntlets. I get +2 accuracy with a club. Guess who gets this? You're right, Gold Moon does, because she's already got that other thing, the cursed gear. So she might as well grab this as well, because, well, she's not going to be needing the bonus from the leather armor anymore. So let's go ahead and make this. So in order to make that, we need to get 2 iron and 6 leather. So we're going to spend an endeavor to create some leather. And we're going to use our 2 iron, meaning we only have 2 of those. And now we get to use monster hides. I've got 2. There we go. 2 leather. We need to get up to 6. We need 6 leather. 2. And look here. 4. There's 4 pelts. We can use those. There we go. We have our 6. So we have created our lantern gauntlets. Now, I've also had a lot of people hoping that someday I might actually make more monster grease because evasion is really good. And sadly, I don't have any way of making monster grease because I don't have any more organs out here. All I've got is this black lichen, sword beetle, and this might be an organ, but I don't think I want to use as monster grease. It can create something because it's kind of a special item from our level 3 antelope. So I kind of want to keep that just in case. We got some iron, a broken lantern. This can be anything, and again, I want to keep that because I might need to use it as something. We do have a tail feather, a flat tooth, fresh acanthus, so we're really out of stuff to be able to make. But we did get a pair of awesome gauntlets. Let's go ahead and hunt some so we get a lot more stuff, and then we can make even more of these, and maybe even make some monster grease next time. Now, of course, we only have Morel and Gold Moon that have made it back, and I think we're going to go ahead and use our shrine and face painting to try to get some more survival on them, because remember, they had to lose all their survival fighting that Kingsman, and otherwise they'd gain some disorders, and that'd be more head traumas or something. Bad news. We're going to go ahead first and roll on the shrine and see what happens. We got a 5, so that means all of our people are going to get +1 to their hit locations when they depart. The next we're going to do is go ahead and use our face painting and see how we do on that. We got a 7, so again, we're going to be able to gain our +2 survival and +1 insanity. I guess I should have said what I'm planning to do, but I don't have any reason to do the founding eye because I already get +1 to or 2 dice when I roll on intimacy because, well, I decided to take the, Graves principle or protect the young. Sorry, it's protect the young. So we're going to go ahead and use those 2. I'm going to keep these separate from our innovation so I can remember that we have these going on and when we go to depart. Now we have 4 left. I have to use all of these on our augury. We need to have some more survivors. Yuma is going to be the person that's going to augur because he has 3 understanding, so he's going to be able to at least get the extra bonus to it if it happens. So let's go ahead and grab our augury out of here as the organ grinder. We have to go ahead and roll. If I have 3 or more understanding, I get to add 1 to the roll if I remember right. Survivors glean the existence, roll on the table below +1 if you have an understanding of 3 or higher. Yes. So we're going to go ahead and have him start. We're going to go ahead and use our first one and see what we get. We got a 9, which is going to be an intimacy event. So we're going to go ahead and roll that right here. I'm not even going to bring the book out. We've seen that intimacy event so many times that it's basically common knowledge to us all. So I'm just going to take 2 dice, roll them up, and see what happens. We got a lantern 10. That's awesome. And I forgot to say who was doing this. We're just going to have Goldmoon and Kaz go ahead and do this. I totally forgot to say who it was. That's okay. We got a 10, which means we get +2 to our population, which is awesome. Now, we could have got a savior, but of course, Biram Everman's still with us for some reason. Sadly, he's got intracranial hemorrhage. So someday we can maybe get rid of that. In order to get rid of it, I actually have to, I think, get her to learn pottery or something and fight the level 3 or antelope or something, and then I can gain the actual barber surgeon or something. I have to get the barber surgeon somehow, and I don't have it. So we've gotten 2 more people in our population. We're again going to go ahead and use another one to augur. We're going to have Huma do it again, and Huma has rolled a 2 + 1 is 3, which means I lose a resource but gain an understanding. So we have 2 beetles. I don't mind using my beetles. I got a sword beetle and another beetle, so we're going to use one of the beetles. All right. Hopefully we don't use Ringo Starr. All right, we're also going to go ahead and use another one to augur as well and see what we get. Another beetle. All right, we've lost 2 beetles now. He's going to gain another understanding. Both our beetles are gone. All right, so we've lost John Lennon and we've also lost Ringo Starr. We're going to see how we're doing with the next one. All right, my last one is a 3, 4. We get a survival. Okay, so that wasn't the greatest augur on the planet. We did get 2 more survivors, which we really need. Goldmoon is going to continue the fight for our civilization. Now, of course, she is cursed with our regal placard, but that's okay. She's gone ahead and kept most of the leather gear. I did give her the lantern gauntlets, which are new, and because they're linked here, I am going to gain my +2 accuracy with a club weapon, and our mace is considered a club weapon. Now, of course, I do have to remember on the perfect hit, I get to look at stuff, and at 1, I actually take damage. I think I missed him every single time in the last battle, so that's something I have to make sure I keep in track. Also, our monster grease is only going to give us the +1 evasion because we only have 2 linked green things. I don't have any other way to really link 3 of them this time without our other set of gear, which would have been the other gloves. That's okay. We're going to continue on with 1 evasion, and we get +2 accuracy with our club. I think that's way more important. All right, awesome. Next person. Breck is rocking our screaming gear. He's one of our new characters along with Ariana. She's also part of our group now. He's going to go ahead and rock this screaming gear. Now, of course, he is going to get +2, +3 to all of these. So he gets 5 to everything except for his screaming horns and his screaming skirt. He's going to have 6 armor to all of that. He's going to go ahead, and when he gets there, though, he's going to be able to gain 3 more insanity. And also, he's going to be able to get some of those acanthus plants down in there. He also departs. He gets +2 survival. I forgot about that. He gets 9 survival. He's doing really good in that department. He's going to be our most trusted survival guy. All right, that is going to be Breck, our newest person. And now we have our another new survivor, Kaz. He's not exactly new. Sadly, he wasn't too good at the marathon that he did, and or the little Olympic games that they played, and he lost an arm. So he's actually going to be coming along. This is only a single-handed weapon, and this is only a single-handed weapon. So we're okay. I'm going to go ahead and take him along. We'll see how this goes. He's going to rock the rawhide leather set. He does have his cat eye circlet, and he's bringing the hunter's whip because if he ever does lose enough to not be insane anymore, right now he only has 4 insanity, he's going to not be able to wield this anymore. So that's why he also has the hunter's whip with him. Now, when he departs, he's going to gain an extra 2 survival, which means he's also up to 9 survival. Now, we have a total of 10 that we can actually have. That's going to be Kaz. We're going to move on to our next person. Morella is going to be changing it up. She's going to be using our curse, not curse set white lion gear. Everybody who wears it dies. All right, she's going to rock the same thing. This has not changed. She gets her up to 10 survival because of the dried acanthus. Now, in the last video, I had this in my gear grids, and our character Sarah took a bunch of damage and died from some of those severe injuries. But it does say on the dried acanthus right down here, when you depart, gain 2 survival. When you suffer a severe injury, ignore it and archive this card instead. There is no, you can use this if you want. So I believe I would have had to use this. So what I did is I removed a fresh acanthus from our storages to make another dried acanthus, and we're going to place it back on her grid. So we did actually use it, and using it in the last battle, I don't think would have saved Sarah at all. I think she still would have probably died from massive amounts of bleeding. But if not, well, you know, that's just the way it goes. I totally made a mistake, and I guess I suffered the consequences. Morel is ready to go. Let's go ahead and see what we're hunting. We are going to be fighting a level 3 antelope again. I know he's really close. I just want to show you what we're fighting. We're going to go ahead and set up the hunt board. He, of course, does not start here. He starts way way over here off the camera. But we are going to have to go ahead and put out his own deck here of evil things. Now, of course, last time we did this, we found that what do you call it? The Stampede card almost right away. But hopefully that's not going to happen this time. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and put his cards out. One is going to go right here. The next one's going to go right here. Then the rest of them are going to go past the Overwhelming Darkness. But I will take the 2 cards for that and place them where they're supposed to be. So they're all done. Of course, all the spaces in between are going to be random events. I'm not actually going to put them down. We're just going to keep them as there is, and we're going to start our adventure. So I think the first person that's going to go is Kaz. Kaz has been wanting to go hunting since he has been born, and it's his time to shine. Let's see what he has found. He has found dead antelope. All right, it says here, the survivors are stuck by a scent of rotting meat wafting from the hulking corpse ahead. The event revealer may lead the survivors to investigate. If they do, gain 1 random vermin resource, 2 random screaming antelope resources, and roll a d10 on a 7+. The survivors are stalked by the arrival of an antelope's killer, a white lion. End the hunt now. Start a showdown with white lion level 1 higher than their quarry, or the highest level available using the setup rules. Add a dead monster terrain card to the showdown. If they don't investigate, roll a random event. Well, this again could be the shortest hunt event of all time, or hunt round, or whatever you call this. We're going to go ahead. I do want to do this because I want the random vermin and 2 screaming antelope resources. Let's go ahead and roll our die and see what we get. We have got a 1, so we do not have to worry about the white lion coming to kill us. We do get vermin and 2 other resources. So we got our vermin deck right here. We're just going to give it a good old truffle shuffle here and see what we find. We have found this vermin right here. It is a sword beetle. We found yet another sword beetle. We could go ahead and eat this right now and potentially get +1 strength. But there's a 1 in 3, or there's I guess a 33% chance we will die, or maybe less. I mean, I don't know the odds on it. Tough and disgusting, no effect. Nope, we're just going to go ahead and gain the beetle resource. I'm not going to eat it. We do get some white lion, our screaming antelope resource as well. So we're going to mix these up, and we are going to gain a couple of these resources. We're going to gain this one right here, and we're going to gain that one right there. Let's see what we have found that our screaming antelope was dead having around him. He had a pelt and a beefsteak. Oh, I'm sure it's the best smelling beefsteak of all time because it's been rotting in the woods. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on. We did not decide to not investigate, so we don't have to roll a random event. But now we are. He's gone already, so we're going to go ahead and have one of the girls go. We're going to have Gold Moon take on the random event. So she's going to go ahead and roll her 2 dice. The white is always going to be our 10s die. Let's see how this goes. We got a 21. Something tells me we have seen this in the past. We have found drawings. Cowering in a cave, the survivors find strange drawings decorating the walls. They appear to contain message. Any survivor 3+ understanding may try to decipher the drawings by rolling a d10. If the settlement has pictographs, every survivor may roll regardless of understanding and add +4 to their rolls. You bet I am going to do this. All right, let's go ahead and see how our characters do. We're going to start at the top, and we're going to go this way. So we're going to start with our first character up there. I believe that's Kaz. Kaz has gotten a 5 + 3 is 8. Then we're going to go on to Gold Moon. Gold Moon has got a 13. You can't get any better than that. Or 14 even. I'll have to look at it again. But we got another 8 there. And our last person got a 2. All right, so let's go ahead and resolve all of these. So again, if we look at our drawings, we get to add +4 to our roll. So the only one that didn't get an 8+ is going to be Morel. She has gotten a 2 + 4 is a 6, which means she has learned the true meaning of escapes you, but she gains +1 understanding. The rest of us, the drawings teach you new way to fight monsters. They get to all gain 2+ survival and a random fighting art. That's awesome. So Morel is going to be up to 5 insanity. She has gained the 1 from our thing. Now the rest of us all get to learn something. Kaz gets to learn something first. We're going to go ahead and shuffle up our fighting art cards here and see which one he gets. He has received Mighty Strikes, and a perfect hit gain +2 strength until the end of the attack. All right, that's for Kaz. That's very, very fitting for him, considering he's supposed to be a Minotaur. All right, we're going to continue going with our characters here and see who's next. Next is going to be Gold Moon. Gold Moon has gained a fighting art. She's going to gain this fighting art right here. She has gotten Monster Claw style. We know what this is. Fist and 2, you gain +1 accuracy, strength, and savage. I don't think she's ever going to use it. We're going to go ahead and put that on her character. Mix it back in here. Let's see what else we get. We have one more person, and that's going to be, is it going to be, is it Ullen? No, Ullen's already dead. It's going to be Breck. That's right, our new survivor. He has found Strategist. During the showdown, set up and place terrain. You may add a giant stone face or a toppled pillar terrain card to the showdown board. All right, we're going to add all 3 of those to our characters. Let's continue on. All of our survivors are going to move on up, and then we're going to go ahead and see what happens next. And of course, we've lost some grass on our guy here. We'll have to glue that back on. All right, our next person to go is going to be him. He's going to go ahead and check this out. Come on, Breck. Hopefully you find something awesome. He has found devoured grounds. The stone-faced ground is littered with the leaves of ravenous passing beasts. Half-eaten acanthus plants are strewn everywhere. If any survivor has +3 understanding, the survivors may skip the next hunt phase. Oh, we don't have +3 understanding on any of our characters. So instead, we're going to go ahead and roll a random hunt event. We're going to roll them up and see what we have got. We have got a 36 that we have to go deal with. Which put them in the right way. We are on the trail. The survivors rush forward, feeling their quarry close at hand. Skip the next hunt space. If this movement begins the showdown, which it will not, the survivors ambush their quarry. If any survivor has noisy gear, the survivors do not ambush. Start the showdown normally. So that's going to be fantastic. We're all going to go ahead and move here because that's where the event was. We're going to skip this space and move right into the next space. And it's going to have to be her. She's the only one that hasn't done anything yet. So we're going to move up and roll our random hunt event. Let's see what we have found. We have found 47. We have found banquet trees. A small coppice of trees rises over an otherwise lifeless plain. Enticing red fruit hangs from the branches. Each survivor must spend 1 survival to resist the temptation to consume the fruit. Insane survivors and survivors with binge eating disorder must consume. If any survivor has a sickle, they can carve a line across the tree, drawing blood. The fruit instantly sours. End this event. Oh, that's so good. We have a sickle. Because we look here, all survivors who consume roll a d10. On a 1 to 5, the addictive fruit savages your insides. Lose 1 survival and roll again on this table. If you had no survival, suffer 2 event damage to a random location. And 6 is you belch loudly and in satisfaction and walk away. So there's no good. This is only bad. So I'm glad that I actually have a sickle. I'm going to go ahead and use that sickle to draw blood, and the fruit instantly sours, and we're going to end the event. With that event complete, we are going to be moving into overwhelming darkness. All right, let's see what happens to our guys. Our overwhelming darkness has 3 different paths that we can walk. The path of the insane, the path of the doomed, and the path of the brave. Now, we don't have +3 courage, and all of our characters are insane, so we're all going to roll on this table. So let's go ahead and see what happens. I've gone ahead and spread them all out. We're going to start up here with Kaz. Kaz is going to go first. He got a 6. Next, we're going to go ahead and roll with our new character, Breck. Breck got a 5. All right, Gold Moon, how are you doing? Gold Moon got a 10. That's usually pretty good. And our last character got a 4. All right, let's go ahead and see what happens to each of our characters. So the first one here is you shriek and lash out. All survivors suffer 1 event damage to a random hit location. So I'm actually suffering 3 event damage to each character that we have because 3 people have rolled that number. We have a 4, a 5, and a 6. Now, of course, we got a 10. Gold Moon, who apparently is really good at running through the overwhelming darkness, found a crab spider that she has been traveling with, and it stops to eat a few hissing magnets. You decide not to leave your friend behind, so instead, you are going to go ahead and gain a crab spider vermin consumable, which is allowing us to archive this to gain +3 survival at any time. Good find for her. These guys all need to work on this. So now we're taking damage. He's going to go ahead and roll. He's going to have to take 3 event damage because these 3 all rolled doing 1 damage to every survivor. So he has taken a hit, 2 hits to his head, that's awesome, and 1 to his waist. We'll subtract his armor. All right, the next person that's going to take some damage is going to be Breck. Let's go ahead and roll his up and see what happens to him. He got hit in the waist, the head, and the legs. Gold Moon is going to go ahead and take her damage as well. She has taken 2 waist and a body. That's no good. And last we have Morel. Let's go ahead and see where she 2 in the head again and 1 in the body. All right, good news, bad news. We made it through the overwhelming darkness, but we did take some damage. We're going to go ahead and do our special hunt event now. We have our mineral gathering, which is going to be the first thing we're going to do, so let's go ahead and take care of that. Now, Kaz, our giant minotaur, is carrying the pickaxe, so he's going to go ahead and roll and see what he did. He got a 9, and an 8+ says gain 1 scrap basic resource. If this event occurs after overwhelming darkness, you find a cave. Resolve all rolls on mineral gathering when any survivor may descend into the worm's tunnel. This is really cool. So rolling that 8 plus on this gains 1 scrap. Then we can also roll. Any number of us can go down here and roll inside the worm tunnel. And this is a whole other section of the book that I haven't seen. It's going to be really cool. So the worm's tunnel, roll a d10 and add +2 to the result if you have a sickle. We do have a sickle. Breck has a sickle. So Breck is going to go ahead and roll. Let's see what he got. We got a lantern 10, so we got a 12. And look here, it says 8 plus. You find 1 iron strange resource embedded in the hairy crystal. Yes, choose to either gain the iron or spend 2 survival to follow the crystal trail leading you into the crystal lake. Oh, wow, do I do that? I've got extra survival. We're going to give it a shot. I'm going to go ahead down to the crystal lake. Now it says roll a d10, add +2 to the result if you have a whip. We don't have a whip, but somebody does. That's Kaz. I think I'm going to send Kaz down here too. All right, let's see what happens to this guy though. He got a 3. A reflection speaks to you. Gain a random disorder and +3 insanity. Oh, we don't get anything else. We should have maybe taken the resource. So he has lost 2 survival. He's gaining 3 insanity and a random disorder. Wasn't that great? All right, Kaz, let's see how you can do. I'm going to have him go down here. Now, he doesn't have a sickle, so he's just going to have to take whatever this is. He got a 6. It says, you blunder in the darkness, lost and separated from the other survivors. A voice whispers to you, leading you back. Lose 2 survival and gain +2 insanity. If you are deaf, which he's not, you do not heed the voice and disappear in the dark. You're dead. Oh, good. Okay, so he's actually just going to gain +2 insanity. That's totally fine. I think we still want to try this again. Morel's going to go for it too. Let's see what happens to Morel. Morel got an 8. All right, so she could take the... Oh, she's going to spend the survival and see what she gets. Something good. She got a 5. It says, caked in slime, the weird crystals. You find 1 iron strange resource. Okay, so we got 1 iron strange resources. That's great. I'm going to go ahead and remember that. And I think Goldmoon's going to do this too. Oh, come on, Goldmoon, let's do this. Goldmoon got a lantern 10. She's also spending the survival. Let's see what she gets. She got a 1. Oh no, drifting phosphorescent spores infect your pores. Gain 2 to all hit locations now. When you return to the settlement, the spores mature and you gain the following ability. What's this? Crystal skin. You ignore cursed and cannot wear armor. When you depart, gain 3 to all hit locations. Suffer -2 to the result of all severe injury rolls. And when you participate in intimacy, newborns can gain this crystal skin in addition to other results. Wow, that's probably the best number 1 I've ever rolled in my life. All right, we're going to write that down too. So this time she only gains +2 to all hit roll occasions. Then when she comes back, I can get rid of that armor because I think it's going to get rid of the cursed. Or do I keep the armor because I already have it? But it says I'm going to ignore cursed. I believe I'm going to lose it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I've already got it. So, but I think I do ignore the curse. So, well, we'll see. She might not even survive the battle. We'll see how that goes. All right, we're going to go ahead, though, and gain 2 to all hit locations. So we got 1 iron. We got +2 to all our hit locations. Then, of course, we blundered around and gained 3 insanity, and we also gained 2 insanity and lost 2 survival. So everybody is going to lose 2 survival because 3 of us got down here, and 1 of us is just terrible. And he's going to gain +2 insanity. 1 gains +3 insanity. The other one gets an iron, and the other one gets +2 to all hit locations. Well, it's not too bad. So I've gone ahead and marked everything on everybody's sheet. Of course, I still have to give a disorder to our wonderful Breck. He decided to talk to himself and got a disorder. We don't know what it is, but I'll tell you right now, if it's apathetic, I'm probably going to quit. All right, let's see what we have here. We have found traumatized. Your experiences have left you shaken and paralyzed with fear. Whenever you end your activation adjacent to a monster, you are knocked down. Well, barf, that's terrible. Oh no, I think he's got the spear. So maybe if we don't end next to him, I think it'll be okay. I think he's got the spear. All right, we're gonna go ahead and write this on Breck's card. And with that taken care of, we now have to uncover our hunt event. And this is going to be because, it's going to be Kaz because Kaz is the one with the pickaxe, which is why I would have had him use it. All right, let's see what we found. Grazing field. Acanthus leaves sprout from the crevices in the stone ground. The survivors spend time gathering and eating the small leaves. Each survivor may heal 1 hit location of their choice, restoring all injuries and armor points. That's awesome. If any survivor has a sickle, they gain 1 fresh Acanthus strange resource. Perfect. Oh my gosh, that's an awesome, awesome card. So our characters are all able to heal some of their injuries, and we're going to gain the fresh Acanthus strange resource. And if I want to, I could actually consume this and heal 1 hit location, including injury levels and armor points. So I do actually have that in my possession, and I guess we'll keep it with, I should probably give it to her, but we have it in our stockpile if we need it. All right, it does say on the bottom here that I have to roll a random hunt event. So let's see what happens to Kaz. Kaz has got a 53. Mask Salesman. The survivors meet a traveling mask salesman on the road. He insists that he has special wares to offer. Shuffle one copy of each mask gear from the mask maker's settlement location and draw one at random. The salesman is offering this mask. The event reveal rolls a d10 to determine the price, then gains the mask. So there are 6 different masks here, which I have no idea what they do. So we're just going to mix these up a little bit and give them a good old truffle shuffle here, best I can, and see which one we get. We're going to go ahead and draw this one. We'll see what this one is. We have found a mask. I don't know what it is. Here we go, mask. We have found a man mask. Well, that's funny. Item, mask, bone, other. It gives me 2 armor to the head. Unique, irreplaceable, and it's an accessory. If insane, you may spend negative attribute tokens in place of survival. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Of course, I have to have a red and green linked to make that happen, and I don't even know if I have anybody like that. Now that we know the mask, we have to roll to see what the price for it is. See, we got a lantern 10, so let's go ahead and consult the book. An 8+ says, as he imparts the mask to you, the salesman's lips form the sounds of your name. It is gone. Give your survivor a new name. It must be different, and +1 survival for naming your survivor. All right, I guess we'll go ahead and do that. So we get to keep the man mask. That's kind of cool. Now, the only person that this could actually help is going to be somebody with our screaming gear. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and put that on him. Now, the only person this is going to benefit, like I said, is the person with the screaming gear. So he's going to go ahead and take this. It allows him to spend negative stat attribute tokens in place of survival. So if he ever gets like a negative speed token or negative strength token, that's fantastic. You can use it as survival. He's going to go ahead and discard his dried acanthus. I believe I have to discard this. I don't believe this goes back to our storage. In order to put something on here, I have to drop it. And I believe that means you just kind of drop it on the ground. So that's gone. But that's okay. We have more acanthus at home. Plus I got one. Now I also get to wear this even though I'm wearing my screaming horns. Because if we look at the man mask, it is an item, mask, bone, other. And down here, unique, irreplaceable, and accessory, which means an accessory means that you can wear it in conjunction with another thing at that location. So they're both head locations, and they get to gain the benefits of it. So he's got an absolute monstrous amount of armor to his head right now. With this hunt event done, we're going to continue on, move all our guys up. He's already gone for one, so it's going to be somebody else. Now, of course, he's wearing a brand new helmet. Why doesn't he want to go check this out? Let's see what happens to him. He is going to find our sickle one, herb gathering. So let's go ahead and deal with that. Now, of course, we've seen this multiple times. It's just going to mean we're going to be rolling a bunch of dice and seeing what we can get. Now, we've seen herb gathering many times, but I do want to bring attention to this part right down here. When we're all done, we get to add 10 to the final score if the survivors have passed the overwhelming darkness space on the hunt board, and we have. So we're going to go ahead, roll our d10s, and see what we get. Our first roll is going to be 3 dice. Let's see what we get. We got a 3, a 9, and a 6, so that's 18. Our next person is going to be our new survivor. I totally forgot that when we got the mask, we had to change our name. So we had to change our name to Fienden instead of Breck. Breck is no longer on the board. Now, I don't know about this. I gained the 1 survival for naming my character, but do I lose the other survival that the old character had? I'm not sure how that works. Please let me know in the comments below. If I have to lose all my survival and just gain and have 1 for naming them, that's totally fine, but I just want to make sure we have the right thing here. So as far as I'm going with right now, I'm going to keep all my survival, but get the 1 for naming him. Go ahead and tell me in the comments below what you think. Now let's go ahead and roll for Fienden. He's going to go ahead and roll. I think he's going to roll 4 dice. We're going to roll 4 and see how this goes. Whoops, I dropped it on the ground. All right, here we go. We got a 5, a 2, a 4, and wow, that's terrible, but at least we didn't get doubles. Remember, if I show the same number, I don't get any points for it. So we have 18 already, and this is another 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Bringing us to 32. We need to get to 75. So actually we have a 42 right now, which isn't too bad. We're going to roll 4 dice again and see what we get. Oh, we got double 6s, so nothing happens. We don't get anything. I'm just going to roll 2 dice. I need to get above 45 just to get some really good stuff here. And we got, wow, we got 3, which might be just enough. So we're going to add 3 to that roll, bringing our total to 35. But then we get to add 10, so we got 45, which states gain 2 fresh acanthus strange resources. If the settlement has cooking, which we do, we get to gain 1 vermin strange resources source, and all of our survivors gain 3 survival. That's awesome. We found a lot of vermin on our little hunt this time. We're going to go ahead and see which new one we have found. We found another crab spider. Cool. I don't mind gaining +3 survival at some point if we need to. And we also gained 2 more fresh acanthus as well. And that's going to go ahead and clear our herb gathering one. But now, of course, we do have to roll for a random encounter here and see what we find. We have found 95. Grim and frostbitten. There's a dead stillness in the air. The atmosphere becomes thick with worry, and the survivors carry on nervously. A bitter, evil cold sets in, and there is no shelter. The survivors huddle together for warmth, shivering loudly. Unless a survivor has armor gear at each location, they lose quarry monster level survival. Okay, so all of our survivors have armor gear at all of our locations, so nothing happens. Oh, that's so lucky for us. We're going to move our characters on up. We are so close to our quarry. We're going to go ahead and have Morel see what the last screaming lantern, or antelope screaming lantern. Oh, there's our stampede. Oh, that's absolutely hilarious. Thunderous boom approaches. Survivors may hide. If they do, move the quarry one space back. Otherwise, all survivors gain a courage and roll a d10. You can either get trampled. All survivors suffer 2 damage to each location. In the chaos, the survivors glimpse the monster spooked by the screaming antelope. All survivors suffer 2 brain event damage and wipe what they saw from their memories. Or we corner it and start the showdown immediately. We're actually going to hide. I'm actually going to hide. I'm going to push the quarry back 1 space. That's not a big deal. We're going to go ahead then and move on up. And then Gold Moon's the last person. She's going to roll her last event. And we, of course, have lost our grass again. We're going to go ahead and move into here and roll our random hunt event and see what happens. The reason I did, there's so many more things that could have gone bad, and I'm only 1 space away, so I don't think the stampede would have been worth it. We got a 67. Of course, this could be worse than that. We're about to find out if saliva pools are worse than a stampede. The ground ahead is pockmarked with pools filled with a gooey liquid. They bubble merrily and stink of disgusting meat. As the survivors move between them, they are overcome by waves of nausea. If any survivor has a sickle, they slice a few leaves from a nearby plant, and everyone uses them to plug their nose and mask the smell. All survivors gain 1 understanding. Otherwise, each survivor rolls a d10. If the result is less than their survival, they continue on. Otherwise, they vomit into the nearby pool, suffering 1 event damage to their body. Before their eyes, the pool greedily dissolves their vomit. They gain 1 understanding. If the survivor has 3+ understanding, they devise a way to use the pools. Each survivor may place 1 piece of gear in a pool, archive the gear, and gain the resources used to craft it, if any. That's not happening. I want all my gear. So we do have the sickle, so we all get 1 understanding, and now I can decide if I want to actually archive gear or not. We'll have to check that out. So everybody has received their understanding, and Gold Moon actually hit a milestone. So we're going to roll our insight and see what she gets. She rolled it off the board. She got a 6. And during the hunt event, she's going to go ahead and gain 3 survival and 3 insanity. Also, she becomes an explorer, which states that when I roll on an investigate table, I get to add +2 to my results. And now that she has 3 understanding, she could break down gear if she wants to the component part. The only one I see actually being of value, you'll have to tell me if this is a good idea. We got a man mask. This thing is allowing me to spend a negative attribute tokens in place of survival. Okay, we can do that. Or if we want to, I went and looked at our mask maker. Look at this man mask. 1 skull, 6 bone, and 4 organ. I'd be getting 11 resources if I broke this man mask down due to the bubbly saliva. In the comments below, tell me what you think. Do you think we should keep the man mask or break it down to these components? I really think we'd be able to make some really cool things with all this stuff right here. Please let me know. I'd be interested in what your opinions are of the man mask versus gaining all of those resources. Now, of course, that comes the end of our hunt phase. We have been able to make it to the screaming antelope. He was really close to starvation, which would have been absolutely terrible, but that's okay. We've made it here. We're going to take him on in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the playthrough of Kingdom Death Monster. This, of course, was our settlement and hunt phase for our level 3 antelope that we're going to be taking on in Lantern Year 21, I think is what we're in. Oh, nope, we're in Lantern Year 20. I apologize. Lantern Year 20. Wow, time just keeps going by. We're almost getting to the end of this. It's been a fun and exciting adventure. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when the next video comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone, especially about a couple of the things that happened here. I'd like to know what you think. Again, thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see if our characters can take down that level 3 antelope, then I need you to meet me at the co-op shop.